What's going on, G1 Nation? Sean Hines here, and I'm joined by Nick Kramer, and we're gonna talk about what we think we know on Evolve. Just a quick thing. 2K flew us out to San Francisco, had us play the game for a few hours. You know, it was on their dime. I was the one who got to go. Nick unfortunately didn't get to join me.
Not this time.
But Nick has played the game a couple times. So we figured he'd be great to come in and kind of be a voice for you guys and ask the questions that you might have about my experience. So off the bat, I gotta say, I got to play as the monsters finally, Nick.
Oh, you did?
I did, and they're very cool.
Monsters.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah, obviously they have the Goliath and the Kraken. Those are the monsters they've revealed so far.
Yes.
I think if people have seen like the trailers and stuff, they kind of get an idea of how they're different. But as far as like how they play, what's the main difference?
So the big difference I felt was that the Goliath is much more of a tank. He can take a lot of damage and he can dish just as much out, but he's not as mobile. He does have the ability to climb on just about any surface in the level, and his leap is similar to, I don't know, almost like a hunter's, where wherever you point your reticle, that's what he will leap to next. So it's not a jump, it's more like a leap in a direction.
Okay.
And then the Kraken, he's a lot softer. So, you know, when I was picking buffs, I always pick damage resistance for the Kraken because he needs that little extra bit. But he can fly, and he does have like a standard projectile in addition to his swipe. So if you're smart, you can kind of like strafe around the guys and just throw stuff down at them.
Which one is more fun to play as?
I kind of think the Goliath is a little more fun to play as. I like the Kraken, and when you get to that level 3 evolution, he has this lightning strike that takes away like 70% of an enemy's health.
I remember that. You mentioned earlier something about the trappers. So
yeah,
this is a relatively new thing that they revealed for the game, is that you can mix and match the different hunters and stuff.
Yep.
Do you feel like that no matter what combination you use, they all synergize well?
It's all about your playstyle more than anything. We did kind of find that certain hunters seem more important than others. Like,
in what way?
So, you know, the Trapper is honestly the most important one because the Trapper's primary skill that all of them have so far is the dome. And you absolutely have to have the dome because it's really hard to keep up with the monster. It tends to be just slightly faster than the hunters are. So you can't just chase him. You have to literally contain him in an area before you can really start doing damage. So I think the Trapper is the most important, or the team will suffer the most if the Trapper isn't doing what they're supposed to do, but also the medic, because people are gonna die. Like, and there's no way you can avoid it. You will die while you're fighting this. The fights are long enough that you'll die a few times probably. If you revive somebody without being a medic, they get a penalty against them. So you'll lose a quarter of your health when you're revived. Okay, and that will stack.
So the person who's doing the reviving loses some health?
No, the person who is revived.
Okay, they just come back with not max health. From what I understand, you played all this on a new map called Distillery?
I did, yes.
Everything I've seen so far looks like it's woods. Maybe some caves?
This is more of that, honestly.
Okay.
Actually, the caves were the best feeding grounds for the monster, because a lot of the creatures would go into the cave, and then you could just kill a bunch of them at once, and then you're just eating like 3 or 4 creatures at the same time to evolve. That's how you evolve, is by eating things. But for the most part, it seems to me that the maps are more going to be, they're going to be a larger factor as people start to memorize where things are. Because then you know, there was one place in the caves that I kept going back to, because you can play in the verticality a lot. So there's like 3 or 4 levels of like height that you can kind of mess around in. And so there was one point in the caves where you get all the way to the high point of the cave, and there was a small hole. And if you drop down, it dropped you all 3 levels, so you were basically on the lowest, on sea level, as low as you could be. So it would really mess up the hunters, because they would climb to this high point, and they would think like, oh, you're gonna be up here, and then you could sneak down into this and follow the river all the way back to the distillery. So I really liked doing that for them.
So if my math is correct, we have 2 monsters revealed so far, and 3 maps. So just to put any potential fears to rest, this means that you can have any combination of hunters, monsters, and maps. It sounds like there might be about the same amount of each. Like if it's
I think there'll be a few more maps than there are some of the other things, and they also said that all maps will be free. So they're going to continue to support with DLC, probably more monsters for sure. So whether that means like up to 4 or 5 or 6 monsters, we don't know yet. And however many maps they make, they will be free because they don't want to split the user base.
right.
So you hyped? You excited about it?
Yes. Yeah.
should be. Honestly,
having played it myself, yeah. Like I intend to pre-order this as soon as it becomes available.
one
on
of those
Steam.
games that for whatever reason, every time you play it, the experience does feel different.
I
And
love those kinds of
you're
games.
always just like on the edge of your seat, like trying to fight that monster. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as well.
It's the kind of game where you walk away with a story to tell every time you play.
Exactly.
And that's one of my favorite things to say about a game. Is if I can say that about a game, it's going to be something special to me. So I'm really excited for Evolve. When does it come out? October 21st?
No, it's been delayed. Nick.
That's right.
February 10th.
February 10th. Okay.
I think it's good for the game though, because it gets out of the way of all the Call of Duties and Assassin's Creeds and all of those other.
True. I had October 21st still checked off in my my calendar in my brain. Man, I'm depressed again. So all right.
Don't be depressed, Nick.
Well, yeah.
Everybody leave a comment for Nick about how he should be happy because we get to play this awesome game one day and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, and for any other Evolve fans that might be friends of yours, definitely share this video if they're not familiar with Screw Attack. You know, I think we had a really great experience, and I hope that you guys felt that we did a good job of sharing it with you. And be sure to tune into the next episode, who knows when it will be, for What We Think We Know.